The fastest group of homeless people is children under 9 years of age. This is video from last August when Mayor Kasim Reed visited the Atlanta Children's Shelter and read to a group of preschoolers in a classroom at that shelter. According to the Metro Atlanta Task Force for the Homeless, Atlanta is the poorest city in the U.S. for children. That means more children in Atlanta live in poverty than in any other city. And Nadia Payne is the child care director at the Atlanta Children's Shelter. Nadia, thank you for being here this morning. I appreciate it. And this really is a tough topic for a lot of people to talk about. We are talking about young children here who are homeless.
Right.
What is it like? What have you seen? How bad is it now compared to the way it was 10 years ago?
Well, a lot of the things we see when we have children come into our program could be, malnutrition, or could be language delays, things like that. So when they come to us, we immediately try to assess those needs, with the parents. And partnering with our social services team, they really, give us a comprehensive guide about what's going on with the family, so that in the child care facility, we know how we need to approach teaching this child, because a lot of what we'll have to deal with, we have to really start at the beginning and figure out, what this child is feeling, what's going on with them, so we can lesson plan appropriately and making sure, we're addressing their developmental goals.
What happens when a family comes to a shelter, right? You've got a mom and your dad, and you've got kids. And, the interesting part of this, the fastest number, the rising number, is children under 9 years old. This is one of the most precious times of a child's life, right? You're learning more. Your brain is able to learn a lot more. And is the number one priority getting them into school, getting them into classes? How do you deal with such a delicate situation?
Certainly our number one priority is getting them ready for kindergarten, because we service children that are ages 0 to 5. So, our goal is to get them, comfortable with self-awareness, with reading, with writing, with all those kinds of skills. So, and we start that in our infant room. With just facial awareness and shapes and sounds and letters, reading to them, really getting them, in tune to our curriculum and our program. And it's very comprehensive. So each classroom that the children will matriculate through, it builds on each skills that they've learned. So by the time they'll finish our preschool program, they're confident, they're aware of their abilities and skills, and they're ready to go to kindergarten, and they do well. So we really try to focus on that school readiness from day one.
How hard is it, self-esteem wise? We all know how hard it is to be just a normal kid, right, at school.
Right.
And now you've got to help teach kids to have an extra thick layer of skin on them because they are homeless. How do you kind of teach kids and really kind of handle that situation as kids kind of grow up?
Well, in our program, our program is honestly not different than any other, child care center that you would go to. Because again, the homelessness is just a situation. It's not their identity. It's not who they are. So a lot of people are surprised to find when they tour our facility that it looks just like a normal school. So, we show the children no difference there, because we want the transition to be seamless. We want them, to have that experience with circle time, with group time, so that, they're not isolated or singled out. And, rather than going to another program and saying, oh, well, I want to go back to the shelter, it's, I want to go back to my old school. I miss my old school. You'll hear that a lot because the children, know no difference. And we work really hard at modeling our program after some of the other programs you might be more familiar with, like a KinderCare or a Goddard or something like that.
Do you see success? Do you see success rates, successful stories
every
in your
day.
program?
Every day, each and every day. There's always something new. Children are learning, they're doing, they're saying, exploring, and you can really see it because their face just lights up. They get so excited about a new skill that they've learned, can't wait to tell their parents about it, a new drawing they did, something like that. So it's wonderful, and we see that every single day, which is why this work is so rewarding, because we know that what we're doing is directly affecting their lives immediately.
And do you see the impact it's had maybe even on the parents, almost like a stress relief to know that their children, I'm sure, is their number one priority when they come to a shelter, right? I'm sure that there's some sense of, they probably feel shame too, right? That they have to be there and that they have to have their children kind of live like this. But to be able to have their children at least have a sense of normalcy,
right,
being provided to them. It's got to be somewhat uplifting for them.
It is, and we work really hard to create that partnership, with the families, because we need their help in educating the child. We welcome our families into the classroom just to kind of help bridge that relationship, because it's not enough for what we do, 12 hours that we're open. We need that to kind of continue at home, so we make sure we give the parents activities to do and, really bridge that relationship, because we want there to be consistency in what the children are learning, but we want the parent also to take an active role. So once they're out of our program, they can continue to be an advocate for their child's education. So not only do we work with the children, and helping them build the confidence and the skills, but working with the family to teach them, how to keep it going once they leave us, because they're not going to be with us forever.
Yeah, and we've seen, because of the economy, right, a lot of people are now homeless for months on end, and then they can kind of get a job and get their feet going again.
Right.
Have you ever had a situation where you've had to turn a kid away because of overcrowding?
No, our waiting list, usually is not very long. We're usually able to kind of keep, the cycles going, which is a good thing. We're always usually have a place to send our family, which is good. And even if for the moment we might be full in the classroom, we're never out of options. We know other facilities that we can connect them with to get them placed. So that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Well, Nadia, you guys are doing really great work. And
Thank you.
It's got to be very difficult and challenging for a lot of the kids as well. So.
It can be, but we just work really hard to create that sense of normalcy and get them prepared for school readiness.
All right, Nadia Payne, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. And it is hard enough raising kids today, but what if you had to do it without your own home? Coming up next, we're going to sit down with a mom to talk to her about her story. Stay with us.